Hi, everybody. Coach Kurt here. I got Guro Brian as well. I'm going to pop off for just a moment and help GM Ron problem some stuff with the link here. Technology is a beautiful thing. And so, yeah, you'll see my sarcastic face here in a little bit. But in the meantime, Guro Brian will be here to have some fun with you. I'll be back.
Hey. So is he running it through your phone?
Can you hear me? No?
No, I mean, it's apparently.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sweet. I'm going to turn up my mic. So here we go. All yours, GM.
Hey, I hope those 9 people didn't go to sleep.
No, I'll keep him entertained with stories of.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry to put you guys through this. This is growing pains. What can I say? How you doing there, Brian?
We're doing pretty good, GM. We're doing pretty good. I was biding time with stories of hooliganism and drunken antics.
Can you hear Brian?
Yeah, I can hear him.
You can hear him.
I don't hear Brian. Is that a blessing, Brian?
Here, let me turn on my speaker and everything so everybody can hear everybody. One sec.
Okay.
Let's do this. Oh, I mean, we can continue the conversation. I'm just going to play around with my computer for a little bit, and hopefully.
He said he can't hear me. Can you hear me?
Fine. One sec. Let me change my headset here, and we'll make this work.
Now I can hear you.
All right, guys. How about now?
I can hear you now. But I wonder if you can hear me.
I see Brian's lips moving, but I can't hear Brian.
You can't hear me.
I hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay, good. Maybe because I'm talking loud enough.
So here's a funny story. So when I was in the Army, I was a communications guy, so I was a big commo nerd. So yeah, this is like really reminiscent.
Oh man, you're a fucking comm guy?
Before I went 11 Bravo, this is what I did. So fun stories. Okay, let's do this, guys.
Let's do this. All right, guys. I don't even have to. You guys already know who GM Ron is. So we're gonna do something different. So a lot of you guys already know his history already, and not to say it's unimportant, but we want to talk about an important topic. And I was just kind of talking about when I was sitting waiting for you guys about street violence. And I think there's no other person I'd want to ask about realistic time of being on the street, seeing the actual violence and using his martial arts or just in general about what he's seen on the street. So I'm kind of getting this conversation. So I think what I want to do is I just want to let GM Ron have the floor and just talk about his thoughts on what have you been seeing lately? Like all the social media shit of guys. Well, this works in real violence. This works in the street. We got theorists versus guys who have been in the shit and have really seen things like you. So I just want to kind of ask you, what do you think about when you see shit like that? Like guys giving opinions that this isn't going to work. Or theorists. What do you think about all this, GM Ron?
My opinion. I mean, I got a lot of opinions. I don't know how many are valid, but I've seen a lot of violence in Stockton. Seen a lot of people get hurt, and that's why when I watch a lot of the stuff that's going on in FMA right now, like endless drilling where you keep things going forever, it's not going to work in the street. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I understand the concept of drilling, but the shit people do now is not like in the old days where you want to end it immediately. Now it's like people shop around and they go to people. I'm not complaining about people making a buck, drilling and training people, but they have to become more and more complicated to get people to come back. And it's not going to work in the street because whenever I've had hassles, I mean, someone jumped in my face and they try to fucking fuck me up. And it usually comes quick, unexpected, and that's how it works on the streets. It's not this endless
tapping
that we're currently doing in FMA. That's my only complaint about current practices. we do have people that do, they put like cargo pants on and they call it tactical. I got no problem with that either. But the problem is that those people, it takes constant drilling and constant practice to use convoluted techniques under stress conditions. And most people are hobbyists. They don't, they're not going to put that kind of time in to become good at those kind of uses of their techniques. I'm not complaining about a guy making a buck. That's not what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But if you want to say tactical and you train these people in these highly specific techniques, these fuckers have to go home and do it constantly in order to learn it and to get good at it. Mm-hmm. And, so in some ways, that's an unreasonable expectation because most of the people in FMA, they're hobbyists, and I'm not complaining. Like I said, I know some of these people teaching tactical stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to try to take a dime out of their pocket, but they should know already it is cooler than shit. But if you got some average guy that's 40 fucking pounds overweight, you know what I'm saying? He drinks, he eats too much. He's just not going to take that shit home and make it his. He'll sign up for the next seminar, but I'd say maybe out of 100 people in FMA, you might have, luckily, you have 10 people that really, really mean it when they train to survive the streets. And so that's my thing. Like I said, I've been in too much shit because I was young and stupid, and I hung with the wrong people. I didn't know any better. And that's why I joined the service, because I realized I was going to get fucked up, dead, killed. Something's going to happen to my ass. Mm-hmm. And that's why I joined the service. I didn't really join the service because I really wanted to. It just come to a point where I realized that, all of my friends were fuck-ups. It's just the socio-economic conditions of Stockton. Mm-hmm. And back then, I hung around with a lot of Chicanos and Mexican dudes. They fuck you up in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. I mean, you go to a party, they have a couple of pistos, and next thing you know, they're going to sock you in your fucking jaw. And they don't give a shit about going to jail. They don't give a fucking shit.
Yep, they don't.
And, that's Stockton. So, I mean, a lot of these guys that are learning FMA, I mean, if they go out there in the streets, I mean, if they get an average guy out there that doesn't give a fuck about socking you in the eye, you got real problems. So the best thing to do is like I did. I just got off the streets.
The willingness to commit violence is an incredibly interesting thing that a lot of people just are unwilling to do. They're willing to practice it, like you said, for theory. But when it comes down to it, that willingness to commit an act of violence, that's a whole nother ball game for a different level of human.
A lot of people are willing to commit violence until the first time some fucker pops you in the fucking head.
Agreed. Yeah.
And you find your nose exploding and there's blood going everywhere. Next thing you know, he's kicking you in the nuts. And then all of a sudden, all that fancy shit goes out the door. It's survival. And the best thing to do is just don't hang around people like that. Watch your back and just keep your fucking mouth shut. But I mean, half of it is just learning to shut the fuck up.
And that's what I was talking about earlier. The ego is what gets people 99% of the fucking things. Is, I told the story earlier. You probably missed it about a dude that flashed a gun with me last year here in the cartel guy here in the bathroom. I mean, I could have been like, "Hey, motherfucker," show the gun, but I'm just like, "Hey, I don't want no trouble or anything." The problem is people fucking let their nuts hang too much. The balls get too big, and it's like, "I'm gonna fuck you up," and I'm a black belt, whatever. And a lot of that shit doesn't work in the street. You're right.
The problem in Stockton now is that when I came up, it was mostly fist. I mean, people would box. You can get the living shit beat out of you, but that's kind of it. Sometimes stabbing, sometimes a shooting. But now, damn near everybody carries a gun here. Oh, yeah. And it's recent. You had a couple of guys get whacked with an AR-15. So if you're in Stockton on New Year's or 4th of July, it sounds like fucking Vietnam.
Fucking war zone, Fallujah over there and shit.
No, I'm just talking about. I'm talking about full auto, and they got that little adapter now on their blocks.
Yeah. Automatic fire.
Yeah, and I can tell the difference between a 9mm and an AR, but still, I mean, they're zapping them like all night long. So you're thinking that here in Stockton that there's a shitload of people that got ARs, especially the ones that are converted with the kits. Mm-hmm. And long as you get the conversion, you get the kit that you mill the aluminum. You can buy all the rest of the parts online.
Yep.
So, the bullets are getting hard to get on 223. Primers, if you reload, but most people on the streets, they don't reload. They'll get their 223s.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to bring them in, but they'll go out of state and bring the shells in.
Yep.
So you got to be careful with ATF because they watch those gun shops that are along the borders. But if you go a little bit deeper, you could walk into damn near anywhere, like in Nevada, and buy 100 rounds of shells.
Yeah.
So,
I do the same thing.
I don't know if it's that. So if you open your fucking mouth up and somebody zaps you with a 9mm, most guys, they don't carry a 9mm. They're regular people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a felony now in California. It used to be a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
So, that's what we're talking about. They'll shoot your ass in a heartbeat.
So
it sounds like Wild West, but I mean, all you got to do is don't go out at nighttime and kind of watch your back, know what to look for. You're going to do okay. But these average people that don't believe in guns, they're cannon fodder for these guys running around with a 9.
Yep.
The Glock 17 is like their rigger in Stockton. So I have no idea why they have that guns kill children. We have to take them off the streets. I mean, to me, it's insanity. Everybody without a criminal record that isn't mentally incompetent, that could maybe post a bond, what the fuck ever, should be able to carry concealed.
So here's the fun part. Criminals, do they follow the law? No.
Are there rules?
So, I mean, talk about rules in the street. The only people who follow rules in the street are law-abiding citizens. So if you're doing some hood rat shit and you're doing some criminal shit, you're already not following the law anyways. So the law is there to hamstring the lawful citizen, not the criminal. And that's the thing that we have to worry about is the criminal. So
California, everybody thinks California is hella liberal. California is liberal on the coastline. So the Bay Area, Los Angeles, what has the most people, it's very liberal. But if you go to places where Brian was raised up, like Fresno, all up and down the valley, up in Northern California, it's redneck country. It's pretty. People believe in guns. They believe in the Second Amendment. It's only on like I said, in the Bay Area and on along the coastline where the wealthier areas and down to L.A.
I grew up bouncing between. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Jim.
Those multi-billion-dollar homes. When they pick the fucking phone up, the cops show up. Immediately. When a guy's got a $10 million homes and he picks the phone up, they better show the fuck up like right now. But like if you're in some ghetto neighborhood, well, not Stockton. Stockton is all you got to do is say they have a gun, and the posse shows up, and they're there to take you out. Stockton police is it's like the Wild West here. It's just. That's their mentality. They're not micromanaged. They can damn near get away with anything. So if they do get a hold of you, if you're a criminal, they'll definitely shoot your ass. But that doesn't help you if they broke in your house and killed you.
Yeah.
That's why I think everybody should be able to own a handgun, rifle, shotgun.
And it's so fucking hard to get a CCW in California to make it damn near fucking impossible to get one. That's why so much shit happens because nobody's carrying guns over there.
No, well, supposedly this that Supreme Court case that opened up New York. I mean, sooner or later, we got a pretty far right Republican, judiciary right now. I think it'll come to California. They're going to knock down a lot of laws. A lot of case laws are going to come up. They're going to knock it down. We may actually be able to carry a concealed weapon in California. I've been hoping that for a long time, but we'll see. I hope so.
Well,
Supreme Court, it's pretty conservative.
So we're going back to just talking about, like I said, being on the street and shit over there. Like, I mean, I know I've been watching you train with Benny with a knife defense. How prevalent are knife attacks in that area, stabbings, and how do you I know you're training Benny a lot of stuff in there. realistic knife defense stuff with the pressure testing, the different techniques?
Well, the problem with a lot of my training with Benny is that I haven't got deep into that, but a lot of my stuff, to be perfectly honest, is assassination. And, you know, I mean, it looks like assassination. But, I mean, so as soon as there is engagement, I mean, it's just coming in for the kill. So, I mean, just brutal attacking. Counterattack, I guess you'd want to call it, but on the street with a knife, the fantasy that people have, including a lot of Filipinos, is that all of these fancy drilling and shit, that when they come to real life, they can do it. But I've actually been an asshole a few times of people that I've known. I've seen really fancy drilling with knives, and I say, are you willing to put a knife in each of your hands and do the same drilling techniques? And the majority of the time, they won't do it because it's too dangerous.
Blender drill.
The fucking drill.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is, oh, fuck, it looks pretty as fuck when you don't have a guy trying to fucking really cut you. But if you put a real knife in their hand and say, well, do the same drill, most of them won't do it. And if they do it, it's not going to be at the intensity that they were showing the drill with a dull knife.
No pressure testing involved, yeah.
Now it gets really real. So I just like simple, because usually on the streets, it's really simple. They just jump in and start stabbing your ass. And that's pretty damn simple.
Yeah.
I showed a technique yesterday about how I deal with a sewing machine attack. I developed techniques that they grab a hold of me to how to control the opponent. And actually, I put that up for you, to be honest, Brian and Kurt.
Nice.
To see, this is how I deal with someone that grabs a hold of me and tries to gut me. So try to buy time. That technique that I was doing there, I'll try to dislocate their fucking arm.
Yeah, and I want to get your opinion on things, because like most systems I've been training are talking about disarms. How realistic, just based on your experience, in your opinion, honest opinion, is disarm? How realistic is it?
Okay, well, to me, a disarm, if we're speaking about with a big blade, you cut their fucking arm off. And that's the fucking disarm. Disarm over here is no longer attached. Because I think that I've seen some wonderful people. You have a Tilo, you have other people that really know how to do disarms. But you know what? I'd rather crack the fucker on the head than fuck around and try to take a weapon out of someone's arms. But maybe I'm just not that good at it, or maybe it's my mentality, but I'd rather hit him.
Knock them out, play with their hands. I mean...
Yeah. No, but I've seen some good ones. But what I'm trying to say is, you figure in a real engagement that maybe it's 3 hits and it's over. Maybe out of 50 engagements, 3 of them, 4 of them, maybe involved, you got the opportunity to do a takeaway. It just seems like, to me, that's a lot of time spent on something that you're really not going to find that often in a real life encounter, and something that doesn't stop the person. And if I do try disarm, I'd rather hit the person first before I go to the disarm. Go behind.
Yeah.
A lot of these disarms are just really pretty, but I'll give you an example of a disarm. I used to do live blade disarms when I was younger because I was stupid. And one day this guy jerked the blade back, and it probably would have fucking gave me something that could have was really close to killing me. Mm-hmm. And I found it sliding along my arm, and it didn't cut me, but it shocked the shit out of me. And that was the end of that shit. I don't do that anymore. A lot of people say, well, if you don't work with a real blade, then, you're fake. Bullshit. No. A razor sharp instrument, like I got a baron right now. This is razor sharp. If you drug that across someone's arm, it cut to the bone.
Wow.
No problem.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even the military trains with rubber. I mean, they got rubber rifles.
Well, I think it's more going to be a badass, and people are like, I got a live blade, or you're fucking, you're a fucking twat because you don't do this with this blade here, and I'm doing this blade. You're using a rubber knife. I'm like, okay, like now I had my training when I traded with Tuan Ruby. She pulled out a live blade. She had a hunting knife, and she was like, "This is a live blade, and I'm gonna come at you with everything I got, and you better get out of the way, or I'm gonna stab you." And I'm like, "Okay, what happens if I don't fucking move out of the way? You're gonna put it in my fucking intestine. I'm gonna be shitting out of a bag the rest of my life. Well, you better move out of the way." So I mean, like, I did get out of the way, but she got me right in the side of the arm. But I just think like it's kind of irresponsible. Like, I would never do it to my students, and like, I don't know. That's just me, I guess.
No, I mean, I'll give you an example. You got an untrained person. They have goofy movements. It's just they don't move right. They don't move like a professional. They don't move like you would expect them to move. They'll fuck you up because they do shit you don't expect. They move all disjointed. You just don't know what the hell they're gonna do next. I don't give a damn how good you are. You can be cut.
Well, yeah.
That's where humility comes from. Where all of these people, they start bragging, they get this ego thing going on. But the reality is, after 50 fucking years of fucking around with blades, I can be cut. I can be cut by a housewife with a butcher knife. You know, I mean,
true.
Yeah. So, if some bitch, pulls a fucking butcher knife on me, I'm not going to confront her. I'm going to go 15 steps back and get the biggest object I can and lay the bitch out. I mean, if I have to do something, like I'm cornered and I got to protect my family or one of my dogs, I'll do what I have to. But I think it's insanity that the people that run around hoping and dreaming that they can use their FMA in a real life encounter, they look forward to it. They want it.
Yeah, some people want to test the shit out for real. Like, they go looking for trouble. Like, my shit will work. They try to start altercation. I had a student a while back that I kicked him out. He was learning techniques, and he was, people do. They get that knowledge, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go fucking try on somebody who does not trained." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I tried that lock you showed me on this one guy." I'm like, "Well, why the fuck are you doing that for?" I thought, you know what, dude? Like, you're done. Like, I'm fucking trained. You're a liability. You gotta get my ass fucking thrown in prison by breaking somebody's fucking arm. And then, I learned that from Brian. Brian showed me that shit. Like, you're out, dude. And yeah,
you have to use your fucking head.
Yeah.
I'll give you a true story. I used to work for Heinz Cannery in Stockton, and they had a guy that was a temporary hired by UOP, a local university. Him and two of his buddies. They were going to be supervisors. Everybody in the cannery, they're mostly dopers. They're fuck ups, but there's college kids that also they work in the cannery in the summer so they can draw their unemployment. It's a perfect deal. 3 months in the summer, draw unemployment. So this guy squirted the shit out of me with a water hose. Well, the water hoses at work, they have a pump on them, with a motor. So it hurts. So I waited, I don't know, about a week until I got my chance. I zapped him back. So what does he do? He pulled a knife on me. We're down there by the rigs where the tomatoes, so this guy looked a little Humpty Dumpty, a little bit out of shape. Well, I'm working out 6 hours a day back then. I let him chase me all around the cannery, all the way out to the street, until this fucker couldn't breathe anymore. And then I grabbed something and I said, "We're going to stop this right here. I'm going to beat you to death right here on the street." And so that's how that went. See, that's my story. I'm not trying to say, "Oh, I fought him and I took his knife away and then I rubbed his nose in shit." Hell no. You got to use your head. And the best thing about knife work, what we're talking about, is use your head. Fucking get the fuck away from the knife. Especially if you don't have one. Or even if you have one, just get the fuck away from it. If you don't have a knife, run until you can find a 2x4 and beat his ass to death with it.
So I have a principle that I've taught, that I've adopted over the years that goes, if I can touch you, I can cut you, and I can kill you. However, you can do the same to me. Because that whole reality aspect, because when you go hands-on, that's when shit gets dangerous. That's when the fight is actually occurring. Because like trying to do disarms, teaching kids, if you really want to test a disarm, give a rubber knife to a 9-year-old and try to take it away from them. Because the flow drills, they don't work.
Dude, My fucking 12-year-old peppered me a couple of days with a fucking foam knife. And he's like, I was like trying to grab it. And he's like, see, Dad, your shit doesn't work. He's busting my balls. Your shit doesn't work.
Realize they're hitting on a lot of people and make their living on teaching,
That's why I got this thing. People make fun of me for this thing, but
they can take somebody's fucking eyeball out. 2 eyeballs there. Fucking eye. I remember chicken.
Yeah.
So okay, so I have another thing, and I think we were talking about this earlier. A lot of people teach knife dueling. Have you ever seen it on the street? And what's your opinion on it?
I haven't seen it. Well, let me tell you how it works in Stockton. We used to have these bars here back in the day, when I was most current. Horseshoe Club, Red's Bar, Memos. They had one called Four Sisters. Mostly Chicano bars. All my friends were Mexican for the most part, right? Because I lived on a part of town that it was Hispanic and a few blacks and a few whites. Mostly Hispanic. Just because I live out in the country, kind of. So here's the way it works. 2 Mexicans go over and they start fighting. Everybody in the bar starts watching. Then the real deal comes up that somebody comes up and stabs some fucker that's watching the fight. That's what really happens. It was a setup to get all the attention to go watch the 2 guys fighting while someone comes up and shanks this fucker. So in a Mexican bar, when you see 2 guys fighting, every Mexican puts his back on the fucking wall.
Yep.
Because he's worried about what's coming. See, this is what I mean. But the dumbasses, they watch the fight. And if you're in the know, you put your back up against the wall because you don't know where it's coming from. That's how the knives are used in real life. It's not that challenge thing where my name is so-and-so and I challenge you to a death match. Fuck that shit. Don't happen. And I guarantee you in the Philippines that all of these righteous people that fought duels, that there's 100 more that died in a fucking bar that got stabbed.
Oh, yeah. Every Mexican dude carries a shank.
I'm not dogging, the Philippines. I'm just saying realistically, not everybody does the Queensberry rules. I mean,
so what do you think about when you see people training knife dueling? What comes in your mind? Like, what do you think when you see people training knife dueling, and like, what's your opinion on it? Like when you see other instructors or other systems training that, like emphasizing that, what do you think about that?
I think knife dueling is good, if anything, from a drill concept, just to do a drill. But realistically, I mean, I don't think in the Philippines, this is my personal opinion, that like people had as many duels as they try to let on. I think it's romantic. I think they had them, like really, really good at screaming or facing each other. But I think there was more, some guy's pissed off because somebody screwed his wife kind of thing. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
I just don't think these duels that we romanticize happen as much. Now, I think there was a time in the Philippines up until like the 30s where you did have a lot of that going on. But, these are highly trained people that were trying to test themselves. But I don't think they happened as much as people thought. I don't think, in my opinion.
So this is more like gentlemen versus criminals again. Because the criminals don't duel. The criminals just do criminal shit. And the gentlemen are playing with egos.
Yeah.
So is that like information like you got from like other grandmasters, like eyewitness accounts, like, or is this kind of like an opinion, like you just kind of formed like on your own about that?
I can honestly tell you there's a book being written right now by a guy called Dr. Michael Ryan. It's going back looking at records, actual legit records about things that went on, say, Stockton, California. And a lot of the shit that's been put out there is fantasy.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Tell you the truth. And you know what? As a Filipino, I mean, like, I have a lot of pride. And it did go on. It's just not to the extent that we would like to believe that, these duels happened. They did happen, just not quite like we make it out to be. You know, that's all.
Everybody wants to be a superhero, right? Or King Lapu Lapu, right? Like that's like the big thing.
It happened. And you know, because like my teacher, basically, he from the time he was like 14 years old, he was a street kid, maybe 10. So I mean, he learned a lot of shit in the Philippines where it was hard living.
Yep.
And you had to do hard things. Hard times make hard people. You know, and it's just like Stockton. A lot of these kids I'm talking about that I hung out with, they weren't particularly bad kids, but I mean, all of their family went to jail, in and out of jail. They weren't working. They were like having kids and by different women, and just they were just living a wild life. And so hard times make hard people. You know, so they come up in neighborhoods where they fought. So they didn't think nothing about fighting. You know, boxing was just, and you couldn't be a bitch. If someone fucked with you on the streets, you know, you had to put up. And it didn't matter if you got your ass kicked. You had to show.
Yep. You
had to get your hands up and, you know, and show that you weren't going to, you know, you weren't going to lay down like a bitch. But it's a different mentality. You know, I'm just speaking of Stockton. I can't speak for, like, but I know that probably Bakersfield, Fresno, Central California, it's all been kind of a rough area.
I grew up bouncing between.
Not so bad. Yeah, it's just.
So I grew up bouncing between Lancaster and Oceanside. Like all the Samoans in Oceanside, that's my Aiga, that's my family. So bouncing between that back in the 2000s and the early 90s, I mean, you gotta fight. You just do. You're gonna roll deep. You gotta fight. Then yeah.
Have you seen the size of those Samoans in Long Beach?
Oh yeah.
Those guys are fucking huge. My dad said he worked with a guy from Long Beach. He said his chest's like 3 feet, like this thick.
Well,
guy was like 500 something pounds, 6'5", massive.
It's great. All I got to do with me is just grab, run, and then just flop on me.
Yep.
Well, those dudes get a hold of you, you're fucked.
So what my cousins used to do, like fucking around with them, they literally pick me up and just chuck me across the yard, or pick me up and chuck me across the room. Because when you mess with them, that's what happens. Because that funny part, like they growing up fighting, and like, oh yeah, you do your collie, your fighting, and your boxing is like massive a whole lot of stuff. So like my cousins would do is literally pick me up and just chuck me. My uncles used to do it. It was really simple. If I couldn't touch them, even if I could touch them, they could still chuck me. So size does matter.
Size, yeah. Well, my wife happily says yes, but my cousin's an officer in the Coast Guard.
Yeah,
and he said it was really crazy to me. He says he went to America, Samoa, and all the Samoans are skinny.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what? I couldn't believe it, you know. But yeah, Samoans are interesting people. They really are. If you're in with them, you're in. I mean, you're really, really in.
Yep.
But you know, it's a hard thing to get in close to Samoans. I mean, you know, the old school Samoans.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get in their clique. But if you're in with them, they're cool people. They really got your back.
Yep.
So yeah, my ex used to live in Carson, and her neighbors are Samoans, and they're Piru Bloods, so they're all gangbangers. You heard of Booyah Tribe, right? The rappers. One of the dudes was his cousin in there. You look him up later on, but they're all Samoan rap group. But yeah, they're big fucking dudes, and they were cool as shit. Like I went over the time to drink beer with them, and they're like, I told them, can I leave my car here? And they're like, man, no one's gonna fuck with your car, brother. It's like, if they fuck with your car, like we're gonna go out and fucking smash them. So I was like, cool. I thought cool with them. You know, I drank with them. They gave me some food, and you know, like, you're right. It takes a while, but it took me a couple of months of going over there all the time to actually get like close to them, because they're always hanging out, and I just would say, hey, how's it going? And they're like, hey, what's up? But then like my ex introduced me to them, and they were cool. They were cool people. They're fucking massive guys. I mean, like you don't fuck with those guys.
No, they really are. You know what I like about Samoan food? Turkey butts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Motherfucker had some like fish in a banana leaf, and he's like, "Here you go, man." He's like fucking eating the whole thing, like a massive fucking hands like this big, like like fucking sitting there, like my ass is in, like what the fuck? I'm 5'11", and these guys are like fucking 6'4". One guy's like 7'1". I'm like, the fuck am I doing here, man? I'm gonna get killed here.
So talking about dealing, dealing with size and dealing with Samoans, in the perspective of somebody who actually has to fight, what is your thoughts on people dealing with size and violence? Say for like a smaller built individual. So like Filipinos, we have FMA and we talk about fighting, but size does matter. I've seen more often than not with my fellow Filipinos trying to stack up against a dude who's 250, 300 pounds, and they get manhandled and tossed. Well, what are your thoughts on that, GM Ron?
You know what? I had a whole different set of rules in, when I was younger, how to deal with a really, really big person.
Mm-hmm.
Then I watched UFC. They had a guy from Alaska called the Polar Bear.
Hmm.
And he fought a guy from Brazil. And the guy did some low-line kicking to his thigh.
Yep.
Top of the tree.
The guy's kind of big. He's not that fast. And he did some wheel kicks, some low-line wheel kicks on the guy's leg until the fucking guy couldn't take it anymore and collapsed.
Yep.
To be honest with you, you really don't want to get in the grips of a guy that's 250 or more pounds.
Nope.
I mean, you can get a guy that size. I've seen him do it here in Stockton. We used to have UOP had a football team at the local college, four-year college, private college. And some of these guys are 250, a little bit more. And I've seen them, what they do is they just simply just run in and basically fucking give a shoulder.
Yep.
And knock a guy clean across the fucking room. It was like getting hit by a Toyota. I mean, you don't want to get with it, guys. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You got to stay out of their reach. So that's how I would deal with it. I would have to stay out of the reach of the guy. But, I mean, what are you going to do with a guy like that? If you, like you said, if you come within his reach, I mean, if you could touch him, he could touch you.
Yep.
And believe it or not, those guys can absorb a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think you could hit hard, but I mean, they just got a lot of bulk there that can absorb. Of course, if you hit them in the throat, get them in the balls, get them in a vital spot. But I mean, like, you take me, I'm 5'8". For me to get a really good shot at a throat on a guy that's, a foot taller than me, it's iffy.
Yep.
Because once you raise your hand to go to his throat, I have to come in closer.
Yep.
We're not talking about a 90-degree. I have to get his throat, I have to come in a few inches closer, and that's a few inches closer to have him grab a hold of my ass. Because, on the streets, that's a pretty typical thing is that people, they like to grab.
Yep.
Generally goes to the ground.
Yep.
It might start off with fists, but, after a while, a guy gets hurt or whatever, they'll grab a hold of you and try to drag you down. So, and you don't want to be dragged to the ground by a guy that's 250 pounds.
Yeah.
Pounds. I mean, this is too much bulk to move around.
Yep.
So, yeah. So the way I would deal with that, I would just stay the hell out of their reach. Do what I needed to do.
And I was always taught, like, with somebody bigger like that is taking the legs out, chopping the tree down is what they call it. Ankle shots, knee shots, with somebody who's bigger. Kicking the balls, like, I don't really rely on that. Like, I kicked the guy in the nuts before.
Low-line wheel kicks, knees, thighs. If you don't want to really hurt the guy, I mean, if he's just a drunk guy, wheel kicks, gallbladder 31, right there, a little bit above your knee, and maybe the knee.
Shins and toes. Stepping on shins and toes.
Yep. Achilles tendon in the back. Yep.
Take their wheels off from under them, but I mean, it's easier said than done.
Yep.
Because you'd be surprised how many athletic 250-pound men are out there that can outrun a smaller guy. I mean, and and a lot of younger guys now that big, they work out.
Again, Samoans.
That's pretty typical. They're working out now. They're not a butterball staying home watching TV, drinking beer.
No.
Especially if they're a younger guy, they're going to be working out. And as soon as you see them, you can tell right away they got a cut on them. And, to stay out of their reach. It doesn't make sense to mouth off to a guy that big. I mean, not unless you have something nearby, you can, equalize the situation. But the knees would be a good thing to go for,
Yeah, that knee's like the weakest part of the body. You take the knee out, I mean, I don't give a fuck how big you are, you're going to go down.
Yeah.
The knee only goes it doesn't take much pressure, only a certain way, and it shifts
The outside in is where a lot of people like to do the kick, but the real weakness of the knee is from the inside out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you can do a wheel kick from the inside, that does a lot more damage.
Yep.
You know, it just does.
I know.
But that would be your preference. So the guy's got like a lead, like if he's in a boxing stance, he's got a left lead stance, orthodox stance, a wheel kick to the inside of that knee. That's a good way to start the end of the fight.
So
an inside ankle stomp, like coming in right in the ankle.
Yeah, of course. You can like Kurt said, you could run your outer part of your foot down their shin and end up stomping their foot. Yeah.
Not that I've done this, but
Yeah.
Well,
that thing I told you happened at the bank. We're not going to go into detail of all of it, but what I did is I guess I just swept the guy's leg and he fell like in by the door. But like I did it like the C-lot, you grab the ankle and then lift and then you sweep out and he fell. But I mean, I wasn't intending to break his fucking leg or anything, but
That's because you're a beast, Brian. You're just a bad man.
No, I'm not. I'm a nice guy. I don't do things like that. Just a story.
Well,
But I know in C-lot we call it kenjikaki, which is like you come down and you push the knee. You're in the clinch, like overhook, underhook, and then you push the knee down so it not dislocates it out. But then again, you have to get close and get into that clinch with somebody that big. And it's kind of you're like trying to grab up here, and you're like, it's kind of hard. But yeah, I guess
Herman Sawanda could do stuff like that.
Yeah.
That guy was just awesome. I mean, I didn't ever want to get on his bad side. That guy was just an awesome martial artist.
Yep.
The story on him is really interesting. I was listening to someone tell me that knew him. They said he knew he was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
He anticipated it. He knew right before he died that he was going to die. He already knew it was coming.
Yeah, that's what we had his niece on. Remember Hilda Octa?
Yep.
Yeah, she was she didn't really want to talk about him a lot, but I mean, she told us some stories offline about him and stuff like that. We tried to get Rita Sawanda on, but his sister, but kind of fell through. But she doesn't like to do interviews.
I kind of see her around here and there, but I don't see much of her. But then maybe I don't really look for her.
That whole story with that family is kind of a long, crazy torrid story that I don't want to I started trying to do interviews and line interviews up and oh no, this person and that person doesn't get along with that person. I'm like, I just fucking forget it. It would sound like a good idea at the time, and there's so much fucking drama. And I'm like, just forget it. I want to do it, but maybe somewhere down the line I can revisit it again. But it just wasn't happening not anytime soon. I didn't know it was gonna open up a can of worms.
When I was a kid, when everyone was drinking, things changed.
Maybe I'm gonna give it some time and I'll revisit it again. But right now, wasn't after that last interview we did with her, and it was just we're gonna wait. We'll move on and do other people. But what you're talking about today is invaluable information. When people are watching this or listening to it, and it's not just one man's opinion because you've lived it. And a lot of people, like I said, are theorists out there. It's like, well, this will work. Well, maybe. Well, how the fuck do you know? I mean, you've never done it before. You're just giving your speculation. But the guys have actually been in it. Like one of my instructors, and I think something Coach Kurt is works the doors. He lives in the UK, but he's been a bouncer now for quite a while. And he's always, when we train all the time, he's always telling me, this isn't going to work. This is what I do in this situation. And I take all that information and I absorb it with my training. And he's like, this hasn't worked for me, but this has worked for me. And I think we're like you, GM Ron, when you have your students, probably, I'm sure they ask you the same shit, right? Like what I'm doing. They're inquisitive. They want to know, hey, when you run, you were on the shit in the streets of Stockton, did this really work? And you're probably giving them stuff that you used on the street that is going to work, right?
Yeah. for my limited, my opinion, Benny, he's going to get a lot of that. But you know what? Benny's a nurse. He lives a really, really quiet life.
Nice.
Minds his own business. So he's going to have to use it if if shit hits the fan or something goes wrong, he'll use it. But he's not the type of person that's ever going to be out there, looking for trouble. It's just he won't do it. If you look at us, the students, even of Angel Cabales, he was sort of like the person you went to who had actually killed people.
Mm-hmm.
So he sort of drew people in that had that mentality that they wanted to be able to defend themselves. It wasn't for any other reason, but if you want to learn how to kill and defend yourself, you go to a guy who's actually killed people.
Exactly.
And luckily we had him. So I could tell you this: we had one guy that walked around with a trench coat that carried a 12-gauge sawed-off shotgun under his trench coat. You had well-known people. I'll give his name up, like Carlito Bonjob. Always packed. I've been in shootouts, and Carlito's a really, really nice person.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a God-fearing guy, but he'd been in several shootouts. We had a bunch of people. Some people selling drugs, some people, smoking drugs.
No.
We weren't exactly the poster children, but it's just the socioeconomic conditions of Stockton.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of poor kids coming up. But then the guy I told you about the shotgun, he ends up a minister in a church.
Yep.
And everybody straightened up and everybody flew right. But it's just people that went to Angel Cabales wanted to learn to know how to fight. What his insight was, what he did, what he didn't do, as much as learning the art. But I will say this, Angel Cabales himself carried a gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine he did, yeah.
Why does a martial arts master carry a gun? Because he wasn't stupid.
Yeah.
He carried a gun. Now, I don't know if any of the other masters admit it, but he did. And older Filipinos back in the day, there's not many left anymore. They all carried guns.
Yeah.
Probably still do that alive. They probably still do.
Yeah.
GT.
Yeah. We had a place here called Gong Lee's. Everybody, whenever someone died in the family, everyone would go to Gong Lee's, and they would use it where you go to after you go eat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Filipino tradition. Everybody would go eat. That was like the traditional place. It's closed down now. That's part of the complex that Angel Cabales had his school.
Okay.
So outside of the place, they had a thing where everybody was attending a funeral, and something happened outside, and some old Filipino man pulled a gun on someone. So someone called the cops. So one of the older Pinoys come in through the door, and he goes, "Hey, they're looking for a Pinoy got a gun." Guess what?
Everybody packing.
All the old guys in there got them left. They went to go put their guns in the car.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They can't fight anymore. They can't fight anymore. They're old.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Got a gun.
Gotta use a gun. Exactly. No shame in that. You gotta preserve your life. No matter what the fuck you gotta use. Get pipe or gun, knife or
you got an 8-year-old guy gonna fight some 20-year-old kid. Ain't gonna happen. He's getting shot.
Nope. Exactly. Exactly.
They're all dead.
So do you find now that the older you get, do you change your style of training now, like to fit your age now? Like, I can't do this shit like I did when I was younger, but now I got to change my tactics. This is the tactics I'm using now for self-defense based on my age.
I've been having trouble with my back because I hurt it. So there's certain things I won't do anymore. But if you watch my video, I don't give a fuck. I still move.
Yeah.
Movement is life. Movement is life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
But I'll keep doing that until I can't. But I will say this. I mean, if my back keeps fucking up and it gets worse, then I might have to compensate. I might have to get away from certain things. Like slow my movements down, watch my kicks. Like, one thing is I don't do high kicks anymore, but then I stopped that 20 years ago.
Yep.
Because and he grabbed my foot and threw me on my fucking neck. So after that, I said, fuck that. I'm done with high kicks. So I went to low kicks.
Yep.
So all my kicks are low now. You know, I might throw my leg up like I'm going to throw a high kick, but I'm not going to throw the high kick. You know, and me and Benny are just about start to work on kicks. So yeah, because of my back, and my back wasn't bad, I probably wouldn't change much. For some reason, luckily, I could still move. You know, but I'm 70. I'm going to be 70 November. I mean, like, you know, come on. Realistically, I mean, am I going to be able to move the same way I do now at 80? I doubt it.
Yeah.
Then I'll have done.
Yep.
And there's always people putting out videos. Oh, I don't give a fuck what your age is. You can do this, you do that. Yeah, dude. Like, I'm sure if like you fucking do nothing all day and you just train all day. Yeah, I mean, like,
it's a numbers game. Let's look at this logically. It's a numbers game. Okay, and you're going up against a pack of 20-year-olds. Even they may not be martial artists or whatever, but if they're doing some criminal hood shit, and you got a pack of 3 or 4 of them, and there's just you, there's no way you're gonna fight your way out of that. You're gonna shoot your way out of it. I mean,
who hurt one? They get you on the ground, they're gonna stump your ass to death.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what the kids do now, especially with skateboards. They're slamming back at somebody's head and get you on the ground and start hitting you and shit. And skateboard kids are dangerous kids. So those skateboards, they'll fucking kill you with them. Go to a skate park and, you know, I've seen it happen before.
And, you know, there's another thing about a group mentality. I've seen it again and again. If there's like 3 or 4 or 5 or the more you get, there's a sort of an insanity that takes people over.
Yep.
Well, they'll do shit that they never thought about doing before.
Get empowered. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they go wilding. My dad, he was hella prejudiced. If it happened to be black people, he said they go mau. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's how he thought. He was bad prejudice. But so he called it like mau. But I mean, there's something about people when they get in a group and you're the outsider of that group, they'll fuck you up. They'll kill you.
Yep.
You know? And that's what happens with like Rodney King. I'm not saying that it was right that happened, but what that was a group thing. You know, the cops, they all wore the same uniform. They were like a clique.
Yep.
And the outsider, and they practically beat his black ass to death. They fucked him up. You know, and you know, people look at him. Oh, they're cops. They're not supposed to do that. No, they're just human beings.
Yeah.
You know? And I think it was wrong what they did, but you know, he got that $3 million. He spent it. He spent it in no time. He ended up broke.
What's that?
You got all fucking high all day and spent all that money. Turn right back to drugs, right back to the same shit. Yep.
Oh,
I think he's dead. I think he's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead already. He died a couple years, about 15 years ago, 10 years ago. He died, yeah. He had a heart attack. Coke overdose. Heart attack.
I'm sorry for him.
Yep.
I was going to talk about, can you tell us some of the Art Gonzalez stories?
Oh, yeah. Me and Art, we go way back. I worked at a company with him for 15 years. And Art was an interesting guy. He had this system called Bad Boy that he really didn't teach. And basically, it was just stuff that he learned from convicts. And he picked up and, well, I'll give you an example. One of his top students, I don't want to mention a name, he got deported for gun running for the cartel. You know, so yeah. So and I love him. He's cool people. But what I'm trying to say is, Art. One time I went down his house and he said that he was carrying a gun to the restroom. You know, he used to live out in a campo, and because what he was doing. He was just, you know, skirting the edge, making some extra money. But on the top of that, his children loved him. His students loved him. He was a good person. He really, really was. But his Escrima was pretty radical. James Morrow called it Bato Jitsu.
Nice.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Like, wow. Like, Art was really, really cool people. He really was. He was a Chicano, you know what I mean? He was a Tejano, actually. So he was hardcore, packed a gun, you know, like his cowboy hat, you know. He was just, yeah, I could tell, like, crazy stories. He was a really, really good martial artist, you know. Generally loved, cool people. But yeah, there's some stories I shouldn't tell. But that's why I said I compliment him because he has a loving children, loving wife, and a lot of loving students. But he was just someone you didn't want to fuck with. Yeah.
Is this system still going?
It was assassination techniques that he developed. Even on tandem, where two people, where they practice on having two people take someone out. He was hired by the Mexican government to train the police down there on counterterrorism and anti-cartel. So yeah, he was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
There's not too many people out there in FMA that look at actually using a knife the way that he taught his students how to actually use a knife, realistically. Like I said, but once again, a lot of his secret techniques that he taught to only certain students, they were literally assassination techniques.
Yeah.
Where you and a few more of your buddies would just go to take someone out. Because, let me guys tell you something. I don't like blood and guts. I don't like killing anyone. But there's some people that really need to fucking die. There are certain situations. They really do. A fucking child molester or someone that molested your kid.
Yep.
If you can get away with it, you need to take that fucker out.
Some chomo, yeah.
And be someone that'll bury a body with you that's willing to back you up and you can get away with it, you need to take that fucker out so he's not going to molest somebody else's kid.
Yeah.
And I'm hardcore that way. I don't give a fuck. I've put up with almost anything but child molesting. So
I think that's universal hate among everybody.
Yeah. They need to be taken out.
Well, that's a mindset thing. So, like, there's a lot of martial artists out there who talk about mindset, but what's really the mindset we're talking here? Is it like switching on to violence or the mindset of criminality? Because, like, to understand some criminal shit, you have to think like a criminal, and sometimes, in a lot of cases, you have to have done some criminal shit. Because from the theoreticist standpoint, from your average middle-class American who grows up in the suburbs, how often do they think about some criminal shit from an aspect of they've actually had to do it, think about how to do it, and actually do it, and then try to, like, employ it in their martial arts?
I hear you.
Yeah.
But see, here's my philosophy on that. Every martial artist that's serious should train himself to be an outright killer.
Yep.
And I'll be honest about it.
Yep.
And the difference is that he doesn't do it for the wrong reason.
Yep.
You should be just as vicious as the criminal.
Yep.
But you're not doing it for criminal purposes.
Nope.
The only way you're going to go against a criminal is to be just as vicious, and just as cold and just as calculated. Every FMA person out there that's serious about FMA should be learning how to be an outright killer.
Yep.
Now, once you're that type of person, you can be loving and forgiving because you know what you can do.
Yes.
So, it doesn't mean you use it just because you got it. That would make you a criminal. But it's good to have and not have to use it. And everybody in FMA, because we're talking about blades, should be a killer. You should be a trained killer.
Yeah, you have to, because when you pull that blade out, there's no fucking, I'm going to put it back in again. Forget it. It's like drawing a gun. You got to have that mentality. I'm going through with this. You're threatening me. I have to neutralize the threat. My family's here. I will neutralize you. And that's the way I am, too. Like, my family's around. I will fucking neutralize you. I don't give a fuck. I'm not thinking about, am I going to go to jail? And all that? My fucking kids are there. I could still be in jail as long as my fucking kid's alive to live his life. Or my wife's not getting raped. Or, something like that. And then, I can. You got to have the mindset. You're right. And I think a lot of people, they talk a lot of shit like, and I don't know if you see a commonality lately with all the prison systems that are coming out, but now that I'm starting to look at it more and more and more, I mean, I'm not saying my FMA training in the past is a waste because, I'll always be grateful for what people have taught me. But the more and more I think about it, the simple shit of just fucking here. That's all I need. I don't need the fucking this. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. Just the simplicity of just taking somebody out right away. You don't have to worry about thinking of the drills.
Well, what you're talking about, and like, I'm not the end-all expert, but here's the way it works. All of those convoluted drills may not work because as soon as your adrenaline hits, your fine motor skills go to shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But guess what you could depend on? That monkey shit. You know what I mean? The real simple shit.
The
Those guys like a
brain. Yeah.
Illustrisimo, Tatang, they were an exceptional breed of man that I believe were natural-born killers. It was in their DNA. So, I mean, they could be like have a 40 resting rate heartbeat all the way through whacking somebody. They're just a different kind of human being.
Yep.
But different level.
Next thing you know, your adrenaline hit. You get into tunnel vision. Your fine motor skills go out the door, and the only thing you got left is simple shit. This is what I got against those drills. Those really fancy drills. I just don't know if they could pull them off in real life. Because the first time they face a real blade that's trying to gut them, can they do that fancy stuff? I mean, I don't know. I don't depend on that. I depend on simple shit. And that's me.
Well, let's think about it. Warfare, okay? Warfare is reliant on simple stuff. Because complexity, I mean, that's like high-class, world-renowned, lifelong trained warriors. You can talk about like the samurai, the European knights, people who that's all they did. Well, when it came down to the basic infantryman, when the basic man who was in the shield wall, it was close the gap and stab the crap out of them. Because it's simple, and that's the way it works.
That's why I said even the World War II combatants are doing now. It's all easy shit. I mean, like when I was training with Jason Schultz this weekend, he's like, we only got like 4 moves. It was executive position here, hand here, here. It was just easy shit I can remember. And like even at fucking work, I walk to the bathroom, take a leak, and I'm like, fuck it. Like it's going in my head. And he brought up a real interesting drill. With the bag of rice, hitting it to condition your hand. Yeah, old school shit.
I mean, look at you. He's talking about warfare. What did they do over in the Mideast? They got it down to you get your foot soldiers, run them guys in a building, and then call an airstrike.
Yeah.
That's pretty simple.
Yep.
Chase their ass into a building, into a compound, and then call an airstrike.
Yep.
I mean, it worked.
There was this whole thing about like fairness. So there's a bunch of principles out there. One of them that I like using is fighting fair is a fallacy. Fighting fair is this idea for sport. But when it comes to combat and warfare, we drop JDAMs on snipers. We fight with such disproportionate amount of volume of fire that, of course, is not fair. Because if it was fair, we would lose. Now, there's a difference between fair and legal, because that's an ROE discussion. But when it comes to like winning the engagement, you do with fire superiority, and it's typically simple stuff. You just show up with more and have more of a willingness to engage with it. So, yeah.
But that's FMA. What you're saying is that you engage an enemy. The United States military doctrine is overwhelming force.
Yep.
That's what you should do when you fight someone when it's life and death.
Overwhelm them.
You should use overwhelming force.
Yep.
Sure, force.
Mitigated violence. We're talking about blade work. There's no way around it. We're talking about lethal interaction with an opponent.
Yep.
Someone had sent me a thing that I ever use that technique in real life from somewhere on Facebook. Like, oh, sure I did. Yeah, I buried the body afterwards.
That's why I'm still fucking here, you fucking lot. I'm still here fucking training my thing because I've killed somebody. Like, the fucking questions
in real life. No, I don't know who the guy is. I don't want to piss him off if he's listening to this, but I would admit to that anyway. That's all I got to say. No, So when I'm telling you guys, earlier about the things I've been through, I don't brag about it. I don't talk much about it because I was young and stupid, hanging out with the wrong people. But I got to see the part of life that I said I don't want no more of this, because what happened is, as people got a little bit older and they started getting more comfortable, people started getting really hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, over dumb stuff. And I said, that's not who I am. I'm not a natural guy that wants to go hurt people for just the fun of it. Just because I can. I mean, I'll hurt someone if I have to, but it's not my nature just to go hurt people. I'll definitely defend myself, but it's not my nature just to go looking for trouble. I just happen to be with assholes who started trouble, and we're having a beer, smoking a joint. Next thing you know, somebody socks someone in the jaw. Next thing you know, 5 or 6 guys run over towards us, and we're fighting each other.
Yep.
But like I said, back then, there wasn't so much knives. You know, you didn't see much of that too much. It was just hands.
Yep.
And you had to put up and box and back your buddies up. But then later on, knives started coming out. And then sometimes guns. You know, so I was like, oh, hell no. I don't want to have to, like, go to prison the rest of my life over some dumb shit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know, but the people I was hanging around with, it got to a point where they didn't care anymore. You know, they would definitely shoot somebody or stab somebody. And it started happening, and I said, okay, that's it, stage right. But I did learn a lot.
Yep.
And I don't know if you notice now, especially the newer generation, because I mean, I have an 18-year-old son, and like he tells me stuff people tell him in school. That the newer, like the thing now, nobody has any value for life. There's no, there's just stupid fucking challenges. You know, where I'm gonna hang out the corridor, my fucking head gets decapitated. You know, because just for views and likes on social media, or knocking out people for no fucking reason to get views and likes. Now it's crazy.
If we can talk truthfully, normally teenage boys are just dangerous.
And stupid. And stupid.
And if you throw some pussy in there, it gets really stupid.
Yep.
So, you know, a couple of beers, suck off a joint, and some girls, you know, standing there with some nice ass titties, and fucking it's on.
Yep.
You know, so, you know, it's just, but then you could sock a guy in his head, he could fall down to the pavement, and next thing you know, you're on a manslaughter charge.
Yep.
You know, or you could be up on you know, other charges. That at an 18-year-old kid, he's an adult already. Next thing you know, it's fucking his job's up. Yep. It's fucking getting in the military. I mean, it could screw you up. The thing is that, you know, you just got to tell them, walk away. Yep. Now, you know, will they? No, I got in several fights, you know, during that time. But you know what? I also saw a lot of people, you know, starting in assault charges. But he's 18. Like I said, 2 beers, hit off a joint, and a nice looking woman, and you know, nice big red lips on her lips, and you don't know, you know, it's but I'm telling you, it's dangerous now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
fight your son. They might stab him or shoot him.
It's not even a fight anymore. It's pulling out a gun. Like, you know, fuck you. And he says, "Let me bam." You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, we'll just start out a hand fight. Next thing you know, they go to their car and get a gun.
Yep.
Yeah. Because normally now, a lot of places, you can't get into a bar. They got these places in California where they got under 21. There's a half of the bar. They don't serve alcohol.
Yep.
Yeah.
They do a check on you, make sure you don't have a knife or a gun.
Yep.
So you can go in there and the bouncers throw you out. You had to fight in the bar, and next thing you know, the guy runs to his car and gets a gun.
Yep.
You know, so it's just a matter of teaching your kid to be street smart.
Yep.
Like fighting over a woman. What the fuck are you fighting over a woman for? You know?
Well, at that age, like you said, the fucking pussy gets in their head, and that's all they think about. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just saying she ain't yours if you got to fight for her.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. True. Yeah. And my son's 18. He has his first girlfriend, so he's like fucking everything. I was like, that fucking girl wants to fucking go fuck around, whatever. Just fucking leave her ass alone. Don't even fucking go chase her. Don't get involved with some fucking. She's fucking some other guy or something. Just leave her alone. Yeah. Okay, Dad. Yeah, I hope you fucking say okay and you do it.
But what man hasn't been stupid over a woman?
Oh yeah, everybody has. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of manhood. You got to get your fucking heart ripped out your chest.
Yep. Power of the P, man. Power of the P.
A big thing for a lot of these young men, or just people in general, is they got to survive that window of stupid. And provided they survive that with whatever little brains that they have left to a point where they are ripe old age, where they have some wisdom. But the fact is, like, a lot of the criminal dumb shit that we as young men get involved with, it's surprising that we survive through this stuff. And it's interesting that trying to educate and teach young men who are going through that stuff, I mean, you can talk to them, you can talk at them, but until they actually survive that shit, I don't know how much is actually logging in, because I know at my age with it, And when I was growing up with this, I was hearing a lot of stuff, but when you're too stuck being stupid, it doesn't check in. But
No,
I survived.
don't.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's a growth rate that you have to like figure out how shit works. But the thing is that females gets thrown in there, the hormones, and I'm gonna be point blank. The power of pussy is fucking supreme.
That's what I was just saying. The power of the fee. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah,
Fuck the men's heads. Many civilizations have fallen over a woman, right?
Yeah. No, there's usually a woman somewhere in there. In fact, they did research on people in prison, and somewhere in there was a woman that had a part to play. Sometimes a major part to play of why some poor bastard's sitting in prison. You know, and fuck. I mean, I've been child support for a long time. Yeah. So,
I mean, it goes back to that whole, like, the reasons why. I mean, the reasons why you're in prison, the reasons why you're in that hard situation, the reasons why we train, the reasons why we carry a certain thing, the reason why we're willing to commit to violence, the reason why we're willing to train violence. It all boils back to the reason why. What is your why? And I mean, that obviously changes based upon time, age, and circumstance, but it always comes back to it. Why the hell am I doing this? And most of the time, for the young man who is just flat out stupid, the why is convoluted.
Yeah, well, we're talking about, you're interviewing me today. I said I started learning Escrima to learn how to defend myself.
Yes, sir.
After a certain point, the last thing I want to do is ever use it. It's art now for me, pure and simple.
Yes, sir.
All I want to do, but see, it's kind of a sick art, because I can go out and I can go to a seminar or go to an event, and I'll see a new and unique way of fucking someone up, and I'm fucking all smiling.
Yeah.
I mean, just because of the purity of the purpose of what he did.
Yep.
But even though I push myself to become better and better at, like, theoretically hurting someone, I don't want to hurt no one anymore.
No.
I mean, it's wasted. I mean, all these years of practice is wasted on me now, because I don't care about hurting anyone.
No.
I don't care about being Mr. Ego. I don't care about being the badass on the block. I don't even call myself Grandmaster. I call myself Ron Saturno. At the most, I'll allow Guru.
Okay.
Because after all these years, I realized that I don't know that much. I mean, there's been times where I thought I was the shit. And then you come to the realization that the universe is a big, complex mechanism.
Yes.
And you only know a small part.
Yes.
And the only thing I get out of that is that I learned how to fuck people up. I'm a sorry fucking human being. Really and truly. It's the art. There's so much to learn in Filipino martial arts. There's so much beauty in it. There's so much to it that when I see that crab pot mentality, it fucking makes me sick. Shut the fuck up. Because you, motherfucker, as bad as you think you are, a fucking silly bitch in the kitchen with a butcher knife to take your ass out. I don't give a fuck how good you are.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, you're fantasizing.
Gotta get a reality check once in a while.
Get humble. Get humble. You know, now not everyone's like me that does it for the purity of the art. You know, I understand that, you know, you can have give or take. Yeah. But you should be able to defend yourself, but there should be a higher purpose. I mean, you know, that's all you're doing it for, is just to fuck people up. Just go get a fucking gun.
Yeah.
A lot more effective, a lot more efficient, you know. But I personally do it. Started out doing it to hurt people, and then ended up doing it just for the art.
Yep.
You know, without any thought of ego or anything. I don't trip on that shit. I don't wear belts. I don't wear uniforms. I don't like talk shit about people. I mind my own business, stay in my own lane, and I do it for the art. I put my video up. If you like it, you like it. And if you don't, you don't. But you know what? I put my shit up. I put my shit out for people to see.
Yep.
That's what I do. Like it, don't like it. I don't care, because I don't do it for you. I do it for me.
And I think there's too many people nowadays are like, well, let's see what you got. Put a video out. I know a lot of people tell me, put more videos up. Dude, I don't have fucking time, like, between my life, my work, my kids. to be making fucking videos every 20 minutes. You know what I mean? And I don't want everybody to see what I fucking know. And that's my personal.
Yeah. Well, I'm retired.
Same here.
I'm retired. So every Saturday, Benny comes over. We work out 4 hard hours of workout with Benny.
Yep.
Because that's all he could stand. His whole body's sore the rest of the week. He can't do multiple workouts. Yep. I work him hard. 4 hard fucking hours. So then I get to work out. He gets to work out. We're sore for the rest of the week. And then come next Saturday or Sunday, we go back at it.
Yeah.
So that's us. Other people, I don't know. Because the truth is, if you say go Monday and Wednesday to a martial arts school, and if you're not sore, you're not working out hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing at work. Same thing at work. If you're not coming home tired after work, you're not working, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, think about it. If you want to bust your ass all day at work, who in the hell wants to go and kill themselves, twice a week? Well, guess what? You're going to lose a lot of people right there. There are not a whole lot of people that want to do that.
But that's that hard work mentality. People just don't have that. They don't want to put in the work.
No. But see, the thing is, the difference between a master and someone else is that you just got to put 20 minutes a day in.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's a secret to martial arts. You don't got to put 4 hours a day or 6 hours a day. All you need is 20 minutes a day.
Yep.
And if you can't 20 minutes a day, you're bullshitting yourself. You'd be surprised how good you can become by putting 20 solid minutes each and every day of your life.
Yep.
We're not talking about working 3 hours on Friday, because you fucked off the rest of the week because you were tired, but just 20 fucking minutes. So in a week, that's, 20 times 7.
Yeah.
And I find that helpful with like some drills, like 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of just the same thing, like, like either hitting or, thrusting or something like that. Just working different techniques. It actually does, you're right, it actually does help. I've been doing that the last year, just working certain things that people have gave me just for a couple of minutes. And you're right, it does help you. I agree with you.
It's a numbers game. I'll give you an example. One of the things that I had this 2 kids, one of them was named Willie. We worked out 4 hours hardcore on a double-end striking bag. Incredible cardiovascular. And the thing is, you're throwing just thousands of punches. How do you get good at throwing punches? You throw punches.
Yep.
If you can go get a double-end striking bag and put 20 solid minutes and throw 300 to 500 punches. Easy.
Yep.
Easily. So if you throw like 2 punches, 1 punch a second, say. So that's 60 punches in 1 minute.
Adds up.
So, yeah.
I mean,
20 times 60. You're already talking about, upwards of 800, 1,200 punches in a really short period of time. So, I mean, you can do it, but you got to work up to it. Start out 4 minutes and 5 minutes and 6 minutes, and you just jump out there and start slamming punches. Next thing you know, you could just fluidly throw punches.
Yep.
Like effortlessly, because, it's like nothing. And that's all it takes is 20 fucking minutes, 20 solid minutes of serious, workout. No matter how tired you are, you could put 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
But, everybody's got excuses.
The amount of time we spend scrolling, I mean, think about how much time people just sit there scrolling left on their phone. So,
well, the phone. That's gonna be the world. I went to Chinatown about 3 years ago now, before pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I had this big old table of these young people, and everyone's on the phone.
Yeah, they're doing this thing.
Fucking talking. They would text to the fucker across the side of the table. Like, hey man, what did you order? And then they would text back. They're talking to each other back and forth across the table, and they're fucking sitting right across from each other.
Yeah, and everybody's like this now, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking neck's gonna start going a giraffe. Like a...
Yeah, it's just, yeah. But then, like my iPhone, gosh damn, there's nothing it can't do.
Yeah.
It can do crazy shit. I could talk to anyone in the world. I could look up any subject. I could look at videos. I could do a whole lot of stuff on the phone. It's crazy. So,
yeah,
I mean, And the reason I bring that up is because if you're serious about martial arts, during lunch, you can sit your ass down, eat your lunch, and you could run on over to YouTube and start watching some martial arts videos.
Yep.
Yeah. You're right.
And so, that's another thing about like teaching martial arts is that so many people are learning martial arts via video.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they opened their own school after 2 years of watching video.
Well, the other part about it is like having the critical eye to actually sit there and think about what the movement is being shown on the YouTube video, and actually like trying to sit there and determine whether that movement is functional, what's the intention behind it, what's the tactics. A lot of people who don't have that martial arts intelligence can look at a video and say, oh, that Carenza, when somebody's doing Carenza, the Carenza is artful and flowy, and that'll never work. I hate that whole, like, that'll never work in the streets. Like, well, let's look at the video and actually see what's the functionality of the movements here. It's like body position. Let's look at the overall biomechanics, and also let's look at the intentionality. What are they actually doing versus what are you seeing? And a lot of people just don't have that intelligence, unfortunately, because they only have the attention span of like 15 seconds.
Yeah, but see, you're a champagne martial artist.
Yeah.
Most guys are just a beer guzzler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And you got a lot of people that look at shit and they don't like it just because somebody else is doing it.
Yep. I mean, it's like all the shit that I get for this thing, the rubber chicken. I mean,
rubber fucking chicken. He has some curriculum coming out, the seminar near you with rubber chicken techniques.
And fill it with sand.
Yeah.
Quarters.
Your chicken, fucking slap them upside the fucking.
Fill it with fucking quarters. Fucking bam.
A cock slap. Yes, I've had that one.
Fucking cock slap.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to say, out here in Stockton, we call roosters cocks?
Yeah.
So you want to admit to having a cock slapped upside your head. That's all.
Not that I did this as a little hoodlum, but I used to carry a little pink t-ball bat in the back of my car for the occasional usage for checking my tires. So, I mean, oh well.
Hey, I had someone in my house that I was beefing with, family member.
Yeah.
I went and got one of those little bats you're talking about.
Yep.
And you notice I had it in my back pocket.
Yep.
And I was going to lay his ass out. I'll be honest with you. But afterwards, I never played with it before I started fucking around with it. I said, this is a nasty little tool.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It really fucked you up. I mean, I've swung these big old sticks all my life now for a long part of my life. And Coco Bolo, Kamagon, Bahi. And then I said, this is a mean little weapon here. It's fast.
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely lay someone out.
Pink little t-ball bat. I mean, it's great for checking tires. I'll just say it that way.
That little one. So once you get those,
little novelty ones.
Little novelty bats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, not a t-ball bat. T-ball bat, them little aluminum bats, they kill you. And you know what? It's a nice weight.
Yeah.
Compared to like a softball bat.
Yep.
You could wield that pretty good, and you could use it in your house because it would be like, you could wield it pretty easy.
Yep.
And not run into things with it. Yeah. No, if you're talking about a t-ball bat, no, I'm scared of a t-ball bat. You guys ever been hit with a bat?
I have, actually. Back when I was a teenager, rolling deep in the Antelope Valley, we rolled into a party selling some product. People got a little upset. Me and my homeboy rolled the fuck out. We got caught up on the aqueduct there in Lancaster, rolled deep, and two guys ended up being like 7, and I got clipped in the back of the head with a bat, and I have no idea how I got home. So, yeah.
Well, you got home fucked up is what you did. Gosh, damn. You're lucky you didn't go to the hospital.
I'm really surprised I didn't, but then again, I was homeless at the time, couch surfing on homeboy's couch, and just like, yeah, I really have no idea about how much time that I lost. Because, yeah, when that thing clipped me, I was out and I was done. I did wake up with some.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got hit
in a
softball game, like right above my knee.
Yeah.
And what it did was it kind of hit above my knee and it kind of scraped down the side of my knee.
Yep.
And they ended up having to stick needles in my leg to get the fluid out.
Yep.
And they said, this might hurt a little bit. Lion motherfuckers, they hurt a lot.
Yep.
So, I mean, I couldn't imagine being hit in the fucking head like that. I mean, you could like not never be able to count to 10 again.
So, like, a big thing that I deal with, because I mean, between fighting and everything else, I a lot of my video work talks about like neurocognitive rehabilitation, dealing with MTBI, CTE, and concussions. It's all tied back to like the head trauma I've received over the years, and that bat is number one in there as to like major head trauma for me to problem solve through. So yeah, I'm very fortunate. Something in the universe was really looking out for me that night.
Yeah. Well, accumulative trauma. I don't know if you guys know, but I was doing like 2 rounds a week minimum.
Yep.
And sometimes I go up, usually 3 rounds, sometimes 6.
Yep.
And you count the headshots.
Oh yeah.
Let's say you get 20 headshots. I'm just saying minimum.
Yep.
Okay. Per week. I mean per session.
Yep.
So that's say 50 in a week. That's 200 in a month. And that's 2,500 headshots in a year.
Yep.
After 2 years, you got 5,000 headshots.
Yep.
I started having headaches.
Yep.
And this is supposed to be like half-hour hits. So I stopped doing ring work because I didn't like the headaches.
That's what forced me. All the head trauma from combat sports and fighting in general is a big part of the reason what forced me to retire. Is all of that latent post-concussion trauma results. So yeah, talk about cumulative trauma issues. Yeah, I feel you in that one.
They tried to say that Muhammad Ali, like, basically he got punch drunk.
Yeah.
So, it stutter fucked him from being those. Not only the punches that he took, like from Fraser, but I'm talking about
cumulative
trauma of like 12, 15 years of being in the ring, starting back when he was an amateur.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not good. So, I mean, with me, I started getting headaches all the time, and I didn't like it.
Yep.
So, different than you, that you had like been hit with a bat and all that, being in the ring, mine was just workouts.
Yeah.
Putting some headgear on and going after each other, and next thing I know, I'm getting headaches, bad headaches. And I said, nah, I know what it is. I'm getting punched too much in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, you could throw an elbow up and try to absorb a hook.
It's still impact.
It's still impact, yeah.
I mean, the things that they're finding is, like you said, it's cumulative over time and not about like the large impacts. It's about over time, like you've been saying. So like what they're saying with the military, especially 20 years with the GWAT, I mean, all the time sitting there on the range, all the explosives that you're around, all of the artillery, just anything that involves a concussive wave, that over a protracted amount of time, do the math, as you just did, and that adds up to a whole bunch of head trauma.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry to hear that, but you know what?
It is
One
what
of
it
the
is.
biggest things you can do is just stay the fuck away from concussions.
Yeah, that's why I just do the art stuff now. That's why I have the rubber chicken.
Yeah, the rubber chicken. So then, yeah. But, you did your duty for your country. I'm sorry it kind of like turned out a little bit wrong for you, but you know what? There's a lot of people out there that are suffering damage, and sometimes the government doesn't want to help them out.
That is correct.
Oh yeah, I'm going through that right now.
They give them a shitty deal,
Yeah.
and that's sad because, they're going to give kickbacks to corporations,
Yep.
but not the guys who went out there and put their ass on the line so the country could stay free.
Yep.
And, I don't know.
But you know what? The veteran care is getting better now than it was. I know back in 2002 when I used to go to VA, it's actually getting better now as far as. But now they're starting to subcontract everything out. Like when I go for my exams, I have to go to outside contract doctors rather than going to the actual VA itself. So it's getting a little better. The outside contracted doctors taking care of it a little better, I think, than the actual hospital does. But
it's kind of weird. I was going to Mather Air Force Base. Well, what used to be Mather,
Yeah.
and I had excellent service, but I kept hearing that over there in Palo Alto, that I had friends who were getting shitty service.
Yeah.
yeah, that's been the major shitty hospitals Palo Alto one. Yeah.
Coming in from Stanford.
Yeah.
I mean, these are supposedly some of the best doctors in the world, and these guys were saying that it took forever to get service. I got excellent service every time I went to Mather.
Yep.
So I think I'd be the location.
Oh, it's definitely regional. So yeah. Absolutely.
Definitely. Because I mean, I had nothing but good things to say, and then at some point, I came back to Stockton, and I was using the VA here in Stockton,
Mm-hmm.
and I had excellent service here. And I'd hear guys talking about Stanford.
Yeah.
Everybody, they would say, "Oh man, don't go to Stanford; it's all fucked up." So you got to shop around and get a good. And then when I turned 65, they sent me to Medicare.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was told I could have stayed with the VA, but I wasn't.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. If you're service connected or any kind of service connected disability, you get 100% free.
Yeah. I'm going to find out if I can go back. I hear I can go back. But like I said, I had one operation performed in Sacramento, and the lady that worked on me was actually a professor from UC Davis Medical School.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, yeah, I figured like shit. So I got no complaints. But I've also heard about places across the country by other vets when I was going there that would say, man, they treated me like shit.
Yeah.
So, like postponing operations for like 6-8 months or a year, that kind of stuff. That's not right.
Well, the benefit of living up here, in Alaska, because we're so spread out, we have a lot of options for like using local community care rather than going to the VA. Because we have one clinic here in Homer, but our main VA hospital is up in Anchorage, and that's like 400 miles away from here. So
yeah, I was going to say probably Anchorage because you got that big military base there in Anchorage.
Yep.
Yeah, base. So yeah. Well, shit. So, do they mistake you for being Inuit or other Native American?
Funny part, I get it at least 2 or 3 times a year with the tourists that show up trying to figure out what I am. And it's pretty funny because the big part about it is because when I moved out of Cali, I dropped my accent. And then being in the Army for so long, I picked up a bit of a Southern drawl. But like when I'm around fellow Filipinos or mainly from like Hawaiians and Samoans, my accent pops back in. But up here, nobody really knows exactly what I am unless I'm rolling out with the Filipino regalia or attire. But even then, people don't know. I just figure I'm some sort of brown. So,
Some sort of brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, the VA, like I said,
those videos that I sent you, Kurt, or
So here's the fun part about technology and learning stuff. I'm still learning this program, and I have no idea how to import them to play them here. So I got them, but I don't know how to play them. But what we can do is I'm going to feature them on our Facebook page, so people can see them there as well. So
did you enjoy them at all?
Oh yeah, I did. So
they're good videos. Yeah.
Where is this video? Where did it go? Because
can you pull it up?
I'm trying to find it here. I got to pop out through a window here.
No, I just wanted people, and they don't know who I am. I'm not very famous, so they get a feel for who I am.
Well,
and
you kind of are. You kind of are, sir. I mean, you're being very.
Yeah, everybody knows who you are. Yeah.
Everybody knows who you are.
There's not a fucking soul on here doesn't know. That's watching right now.
What's really interesting and what's really fun to observe is you have no filter, and it's beautiful to like just sit there and listen to what you have to say, because when you say something, you say all of it, and it's really enjoyable just to sit there and actually watch the video, read it, watch it again, try to process it, and then like, oh. Like I end up coming back to like a number of your posts throughout the week and like, that's what he meant. Because it takes me a minute to like figure it out. And then it's amazing. So like, I really enjoy your work with Benny because it's been really fun to watch the progress of Benny for the past year. And it's amazing. And again, going back to like your posts and some of your longer posts, it's really enjoyable to sit there and like, oh, what is GM Ron saying here? And can I figure it out? And when I do, it's like, it's a major epiphany, and I really love it. So
it's just, when I put shit down, I don't try to be the end all like knowledge fucker, but I just put down exactly what the fuck I think.
Mm-hmm.
You never have to worry about what I'm thinking.
Yep.
So like teaching Benny, I tell him directly, this is what the fuck I want.
Yep.
This is what the fuck I'm trying to do here. And when you're talking about using this in real life, there's no other way to fucking get that across.
Yep.
You can mollycoddle it. You could like fucking sugarcoat it. No, I did one Sunday where I gave him 5 stabs to the neck.
Yep.
I explained to him what I wanted to do.
Yep.
I'm trying to go. I don't give. Benny cuts out a lot of the stuff on the videos because he doesn't want it to be fully explained. He wants to keep it to himself.
That's fair.
As an example, when I'm talking about going on the backside of the clavicle to get to the subclavian.
Yep. Yep.
All you got to do is twist that knife a little bit, and you're going to get the carotid for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do the ice pick and you come in, you want to break that clavicle and stem that knife down and not only get the subclavian, but if you do it right with the right size knife, you're also going to puncture the lung.
Yep.
You know, and so then those kind of things I don't generally say because I'm worried about somebody using that and saying that they've seen it.
Yeah, you gotta be careful what you post. Yeah, that's why I said I don't post a lot of shit because I don't want people seeing me fucking going into town on Bob. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I watched this guy on there and he said he could puncture the kidney if he, you know, people watch shit and they learn from the fucking videos. They save them. I know a guy that I work with. He's like, I watched those videos you told me about. I saved them all on my phone. I'm like, what the fuck are you gonna do with the videos? Well, I'm gonna go try to practice it later on. I'm like, well, you don't even know what the fuck you're even doing. But I mean, you're trying to emulate what's on the video. But you know, people, you got to be responsible what you put out there, and a lot of people aren't.
No, but back to like what GM Ron does with you put out there what is on your mind and the way you want to say it and how you say it because it's the only way you're going to say it. And there's so much presentation within the Filipino martial arts, or just let's say the professional online martial arts community is so tailored, so articulate, so specific to like traffic of leads, and you lose a lot of that authenticity and the personality. That's the big one, the personality of the instructor. Because I mean, though, to spend so much time with an individual who's going to teach you all these scary but interesting things, there's got to be a personality aspect that people connect with. And when people like sanitize the way that they speak and self-censor that way, you lose that authenticity. And that's the thing I really appreciate with all that you put out there is this is how I expect you to talk because this is how you talk. And I really appreciate it.
No, well, you know, the bizarre thing is that I'm a retired teacher.
Yeah.
And then I have a master's degree and I went to law school.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, but then, you know, that's the professional person.
Yep.
You know, but when I go here and I'm teaching the martial arts, that's my passion.
Yep.
And I express myself zero filter, like you say. And if it offends, I'm sorry. You know, I apologize. But, you know, if you want to get that sanitized shit, that's everywhere.
Yep.
But, you know, if you're speaking from the heart, exactly what you're trying to get across, you got to be authentic. You're right. You got to be.
Yep.
You know, but if I was another type of person, I might be naturally sanitized.
Well, I mean,
you know,
it's just like changing one's accent. When you code switch to speak for a certain part of the population so they'll accept you, you cut out a lot of the authenticity of who you actually are to meet for them at the loss and benefit, at the loss of you. So having that ability just to like turn that off and just say what you're going to say, regardless of who's viewing it, that's important. But we get so stuck with this idea of code switching our content for the concerning eyes, just like we do when we code switch our accent, just so we don't offend a certain group of people.
Yeah.
So
well, that was one of the appeals of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Is that it came straight out.
Yeah. And
he didn't really give a shit. And I think that appealed to some people that you got a politician that finally was a real human being.
Mm-hmm.
Is fucked up as he could be, and you know, like far short of being a decent human being, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But at least he was real.
Yeah.
I mean, he came out and said, and people voted for him. They said, how refreshing. Because you have people, politicians, they go over here and they say, I'm going to cut back on Social Security.
Yeah.
And then he goes to another state and he goes, I'm going to increase Social Security. I'm going to be hard on crime. Then over here, I'm going to have programs for African Americans. So to compensate for the oppression of the government or the people. Yeah, but I think all of us, the definition of person in Greek means mask.
Mm-hmm.
All of them have mask.
Yep.
We have the mask when we go into court and we got a ticket, and we don't want to, we want to kind of like beg a lesser fine.
Yep.
We got the mask when we meet a pretty woman and we're going to try to get her in bed. We got a mask. We wear masks all day long. But it is refreshing when you come across someone, like it or not, that just tells you straight up in your face how shit is.
Yep.
You know exactly where in the fuck you fit. And, that's what we're missing in this society is that, well, I'll give you guys a secret. For me, when I worked out with Angel Cabales, it got so fucking intense with the workout that I started intuitively perceiving what actions would come. It psychometry at some point where everything went into slow motion. But what it did, it hypersensitized my ability to sense people.
Mm-hmm.
So what it made me was a fucking hermit because I know when people are fake as fuck. And it changes you as a human being because now you can't stand being around people that they say one thing and they mean another.
Yep.
So if you hear the stories about Filipinos that go off in the jungle and live their separate lives, it's because they just can't stand to be around people.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not enough people to just tell the truth.
I can feel that because I'm a Filipino that lives way the fuck up here in Alaska. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sure Brian gets what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's just, if you're real, it's hard to be around fake people.
Yep.
And I've encountered that for quite a while. That's why we decided to do this show because, I was just like, dude, I need to do something where we're unfiltered. We talk about shit nobody wants to talk about. We offend people. I mean, it's not intentional. It happens, but it needed to be done, and there needs to be more shows where people aren't fucking like this all the time. You know what I mean?
Well, if anybody's watching this show, I know I'm going to offend a lot of people when I attack drilling, endless drilling, and tactical, people that are teaching the tactical stuff. I mean, I got no problem with that. If you go take a gun course, I think everybody should take one.
Mm-hmm.
Where you get some good hands-on. Like this guy's living up in Homer, Alaska. I know damn well you shoot.
Oh, yeah.
I don't give a day.
I don't post it, but yeah.
You can go out your fucking backyard and shoot shit. You know what I mean? And nobody's going to call the cops.
Well, not this yard, but yeah. I go out east end, but yeah.
Well, it's the same way I live out here in the desert. There's all desert around here. People go shooting all the time out in the desert. So, I mean.
I understand, taking technical courses. But what I'm saying is that highly technical courses, unless you're going to make an effort to take that stuff to heart, you might as well not even do it because, it's just, you're perfecting an art.
Yep.
So unless you're going to spend the time to do it, I mean, even on gun courses, so you go out there and you go every 6 months, you're not going to get the same benefit if you go out every 2 weeks.
I have this conversation often with a lot of my veteran buddies up here and also people who just like to get in the tactical cosplay. They want to go do the John Wick shit on the range and do the cool guy CQB stuff. And it's well, let's look at the frame of reference here. If you are clearing a building by yourself with an AR platform and you're not a police officer, you fucked up. So the all this care and concern about doing the cool guy CQB stuff as a common citizen does not relate to me. What relates to me is how do I get this thing out of appendix and engage, right? Or how do I hold on to this thing? Or better yet, how do I position this thing and work on the draw and retention? Not about how to clear the building, because if I'm clearing the building, I'm not a cop.
It's all LARPing, dude. Everyone wants to fucking. Ever since the John Wick movies and shit came out, every motherfucker with a gun now wants to go there, like you said, dump clip after clip, magazine after magazine, and just fucking.
Yeah. My problem with that about the guys that want to go clear rooms and shit, if it's a shit hit the fan situation and you're gonna do that alone, you're gonna fucking die.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're gonna fucking die.
Yep.
You gotta get a clique together. You gotta have a 5 or 6 guys and get your families together.
Yep.
Share all of your needs. You know what I mean? have people up at nighttime, watching things and sharing food and everything.
You have to create an army. You have to create an army.
You're not going to survive by yourself.
No.
And so, you guys got these fantasies. You're going to run out there and you're going to get your fucking ass shot.
So again,
you mean I can't kill somebody with a book?
You're going to die, but it sounds fanciful. It sounds romantic. You know what I'm saying? But, and I also get kick out of the people that, not the guys that live in Homer, Alaska that are already out in the woods, that these guys are going to go out there and they're going to live in the woods. And you know what? There's only so many deer and only so many critters, and you really want to be walking around, and you got knuckleheads out there with AR-15s. They will shoot you fucking dead just for being there.
Yeah.
So, you better have a plan. You're better off, like, hoarding up in your garage. You know what I mean?
If you got all this cool guy gear and it's just you got to move all that stuff by yourself. So that sucks. So, like, in this concern about firearms and actual violence, again, when I explain to new people saying, yeah, I do some firearm stuff, and they ask me about the cool guy stuff, it's like, no, my concern is, how do I get this thing out of my pants? Because I'm not starting the firefight with it already drawn. Just like the knife drills in FMA, a lot of the partner drills are already, we both got a knife out. How often do we...
Nobody's ever practicing drawing.
Nobody works on
drawing.
Yeah.
The only...
that's why I push Frank nights.
Yep.
But only because here in California, you can't have a concealed fixed blade knife.
Nope.
But I'll take a fixed blade knife anytime over a...
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
and the only people...
I can get a fixed blade out pretty fucking fast.
Yeah.
But a folder, it's cumbersome.
Yep.
And even a volley song, the way Filipinos use a volley song is totally different than the movies.
Yep.
All you do with a volley song is just flip and get your thumb on the back of the blade and stab. It's not that fancy shit.
Not this.
But anyway, the bottom line is that fancy.
Show off.
I don't like fancy. I'd rather get the job done. Like you said, who in the hell has their knives out? And then my name is so and so, and I'm Pakiti Tirsha. I hear you're Serrada. Let's fight.
Yeah, that's some like old. So I want to see, just diving into the weeds. We have Hollywood Hong Kong that did like the Shaw Brothers. My Kung Fu is better than yours. I want to see just a Filipino martial arts approach to this, that my FMA is better than yours, and see this like terrible martial arts whole genre come out of just like Hollywood Manila or Hollywood Cebu, and just go with that whole route, because that would be hilarious.
I think it would. I think it would humble a lot of people and make shit.
Yeah.
First time the fucker got conked in the head and they're dragging him out by his fucking feet, I think everyone would say, wait a minute, maybe this ain't so cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
maybe I'll just I hear my mama calling,
Yep.
Yeah. Gosh damn, I mean, people, they don't realize if you got like a Bahi or a Kamagang or Coco Polo and you're going to whack someone in the head as hard as you can, what do you fucking think happens to these people?
They get knocked the fuck out, and they end up like me.
Out. Yeah, count to 10 the rest of your life if you stay alive. You're going to be fucking one of them people that they come out of them little buses that they take to the mall, and you all hold a rope so you don't get lost. I mean, even with a stick, these are lethal weapons, and I don't know, you got to treat it serious. And like I said, a lot of it's fantasy. If after a while, if you don't treat it as an art, you're just wasting your time, because the chances if you're walking down the street with a stick and another guy's got a stick and you're going to fall in the middle, that's fantasy.
Yeah.
Ain't going to happen. But the reason that I like Serrada is because I'm thinking beer bottle.
Yep.
I'm thinking nearby object.
That's where this scar came from.
Beer bottle.
Yeah. I'm thinking about after I hit him with a chair and break it, grabbing one of the legs and beating him up with it. You
Yep.
see what I'm getting? That's how I'm
Yeah.
getting.
And that's that mindset thing of not like when I see red, but it's that mindset of, hey, what are some criminal things I have to do to actually execute in violence? And unfortunately, a lot of the middle class dojo rat martial artists out there don't have that mindset because they're not actually looking at the criminal violent tools available.
Absolutely. But the first time that you took up a bladed art,
Mhm.
the fucking light should have gone off that this is some serious fucking shit here that I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
And you know, the fantasy should have quickly gone out the window because this is used to exsanguinate people. It's used to, you know, puncture vital organs. It's used to do things to them on slashes that they bleed to death within 20 seconds. I mean, you know, you have to have that. But when you stand there and you do the drills on and on, to me, that's my only complaint with current FMA, what's going on. Because if you look at like my teacher, Angel Cabales, they use that shit for fucking literally to defend their life.
Yep.
They can put themselves in that situation, but they still use it to defend their life. As these succeeding generations are going to keep going on and you get further and further away from realistic use, then you're going to see the fanciful shit come in that's going to replace what actually worked on the streets.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, art sells, though. I mean, that's a lot of appeal. It's cool, flashy shit. I have a student that's a stunt woman, and I showed her a lot of shit that she can use in real life. Well, what the fuck does she want to learn? I want to learn, you know, the bolo stuff, the sword stuff, and I'm like, for her movies because she's in Hollywood. She's shooting a movie right now. We're choreographing a movie right now. She's shooting up north in Santa Fe, and she's like, I just want to learn some stick stuff and some stuff that looks really cool because this would be like a action movie / sci-fi, and that's what sells. And I'm like, what about their shit that's gonna save your life? Well, I don't really need to know that. I just want to see like okay, that's what you want. That's what you want. I'll show
And
it to
that's
you.
that why part. What is the why? She's doing it because she wants to learn the stuff for a job.
For a job, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but you know, all the time in there, you got to have common sense.
Mhm.
You know, I'll give you an example. The other day, I got pissed off. Somebody was acting like a dumbass in front of me in their car, and they were on the telephone. So I finally honked at him. Well, my son-in-law in the back seat, he says, "Hey, man, I just seen someone got shot. Maybe you shouldn't have honked your horn at him." And they literally slammed their brakes in front of me.
Yep.
Because, you know, they jumped out of their car and they shot two people that I knew. And I looked at him and I smiled and I said, you know what? You're right. I did wrong. But I said, if that fucker jumps out with a car,
It's
I'm
on.
in a fucking Toyota Tundra.
Yep.
I said, he's getting run the fuck over.
Yep.
Hit him with
There's
a
no
handlebar.
way you can pass a Toyota. I'm sorry.
So, I mean, this is a 2001 Toyota when the Tundras were pretty big.
Yeah.
And it's extended cab. So I said, if someone jumps out of their car with a gun, they're getting mashed.
Yep.
You know, I'm not going to jump out. You know, they jumped out with a knife. I'm not going to pull my knife and jump out in the street. We're going to have a deadly fucking deal. And it was stupid. I shouldn't have honked. But it was just I got irritated. I'm human. But that's what they'll do here. You honk at someone, they'll shoot you here.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah, shit in the freeways too. Yeah, the LA freeway shootings. Remember? They shot that little boy,
Yeah.
honked the horn at him, cut him off, bam, shot him to the fucking trunk, killed him.
It's stupid. Life is cheap. They just killed a 13-year-old kid a while back. You know, gang turf warfare.
Yep.
They went to a house and shot a bunch of people and killed a 13-year-old because I guess I don't know what he did, but my son-in-law was supposed to be in there in the house, but he didn't go that day. I guess he would have got shot too.
He got lucky. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like growing up in the Alamo Valley there in Lancaster, I mean, you got bikers out there, and they're shooting stuff up on the road anyways.
You saw the thing about the banditos, right? In Red River? Well, we got banditos are real prevalent down here where I live at, and they're everywhere. And those are one guys you don't fuck with. Like if they ride their bikes in one lane, you don't fucking pull in front of them or try to cut them off or try to make them switch over their lanes. You stay in the fucking back of them. And I don't give a fuck about martial arts. You know, you're not going to beat a bunch of bikers. So it's like Stay in your lane behind them. Let them go first. Because they'll fucking run your ass off the road in the bikes. Or they'll break your fucking mirror or whatever.
A lot of the interesting, for weapon-wise, a lot of the bikers here in California, they carry ball-peen hammers.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they do here, too. They have it right in the back of the saddle. That ball-peen hammer, yep. Bash your fucking window off. Bam! You're fucking driving.
That's an interesting short weapon. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Kind of like the up a Screama's alley.
Yep.
Yeah, the guy I used to work with was a bandito, and I asked him that because long story short, I don't know how he got a federal job, but that's another story. But he said he left the banditos. I don't believe him. But he said they carry those ball-peen hammers. Like, you know what? A lot of people think we use them to fuck people up. Because we do. He's like, but we use it to bust people's windows out. If a car cuts us off and we got our bike, we'll pull that fucking hammer out and bash your windshield in or take your mirror off or hit your. That's what they really use them for. That's why I have them in their bikes.
Wow. I've seen it. Did I disappear?
Nope, you're good. You're still there.
We're going on 3 hours, dude.
Yeah.
We're gonna let you go, GM Ron. We know it's been a long day for you, and this has been fantastic, though. This has been great.
It's a long day. It's a long day trying to get shit done. I'm so sorry about the trouble you went through.
No worries. We'll have you back on.
We're definitely going to have you back on for sure because we had that little hiccup with the technical difficulties, but now you know how to get on, so now we can have you on and we can continue the conversation.
No. What I'm saying is that if you guys got the right questions and we need to get technical, we can get technical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see, like how I actually do things. We didn't get really deep into that. We covered a lot of subjects, and I appreciate you guys.
What I wanted to do mostly tonight was get your experience being on the street because, we don't get a lot of that. You know what I mean? We get a lot of the training questions and the history, but not your experience. That's what I wanted to kind of.
What we can do is, if you care to have me back on, I could do some video.
Yeah.
Of actually what I do.
Yeah.
More of what and then you could put that up, and then you could see if you could intersperse it on what we're doing, and then you can say this is what works on the street.
Yep.
This is what you got to look for. And what time is it? What time is it where you're at?
For me, it's 7.
And where I'm at, I don't know what time it is over there. Where Kurt's at.
It's 8:08 here.
It's 7 for me, so 7:08.
You guys are more than welcome to continue the conversation. So don't leave on my account.
I think we covered everything today. But what I'll do is, just in case you guys want me back on, I'll have Benny and me. We'll prepare some videos.
No, let's do that. Let's do a part 2 because let's do a part 2 soon because we had that hour where we had to get them on.
Yeah,
and I shortchange them a little bit, so I want to definitely continue.
All right. Well, you know what, Kurt, I'm so glad to meet you. I've had some association with Brian already, and I wish you the best up in Alaska, and I wish the best in. Are you in Albuquerque?
I'm in Las Cruces.
I think that's a nicer place.
Oh yeah, definitely better. Albuquerque's a shithole. You want to test your street skills out? Go to Albuquerque. That's what I always tell everybody.
Okay, so gentlemen, I thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you, Guro Ron. We appreciate it. Let us know. Message me tomorrow, and we're going to coordinate with you and Benny for part 2.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to have you on again, so you're going to be on here soon again.
All right, bye-bye, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it, GM. Appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, that was awesome, man. I mean, we had a little hiccup, but dude, the information that was given, the opinions, it went like a fucking dream, just like I thought it would go. And it was perfect.
Technology, I mean, we'll figure it out. Fortunately.
Yeah. That's what we definitely got to do a part 2. I feel we kind of shortchanged a little bit.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a part 2, so we'll definitely coordinate that. I want to thank each and everybody for watching. And I know I'm an old fuck. It's just that I have to always get up at 3 a.m. For work. And I know I might have put the kibosh on the interview. But that's why I said you guys could have kept on going. You have to kid on my account.
No, it's fine.
We're going on 3 hours and 10 minutes. But I hope you guys enjoyed the frankness the F-bombs, the stories. I know it went a little long, but this is exactly what it went perfectly the way I wanted to. Unfiltered, raw, candid. Don't give a fuck. We just got to say what we got to say. And GM Ron said what he had to say, and whoever's people can go in and cry about, fuck it. It doesn't matter. It's his opinion. It's our opinions. You can have your opinion. I think it went great. Thank everybody watching. Richard Pac-Man, thank you for watching. Oh, Paul Rubio's said, "What's up, dudes?" He just joined, came in a little late, but you can watch the recast of it. Michael Carriaga, what's going on, man? Thank you. Perfect show for the military folks. Yeah, we're all veterans. So I hope we didn't. From time to time, we're going to talk about veterans topics because that was one of the things, right, Coach Kurt, that we kind of said we're going to talk about a lot of veteran stuff. So if you're not a veteran, I don't know what to tell you. Just you can take some information for yourself. But I mean, this is something for veterans and regular people too. But we're going to talk about veteran topics.
There's a culture and mindset. So I mean, for a lot of other like podcasts that are out there, there are specific niches that they fill. And for us, I mean, we're fulfilling a veteran niche because we're both veterans and we want to talk about veteran stuff. And we so happen to be martial artists as well. So it kind of works together. So,
yeah. And I don't want everybody to misconstrue that this is all just for veterans only. We're all going to talk about veteran people on here. The next guest we're going to have is not a veteran at all, but I'm not going to reveal it yet. A couple of days, we'll make the flyer. We'll put it out. She is a badass practitioner, a woman, a highly respected woman in the martial arts field. She's not FMA, so FMA guys, I'm sorry. She's never done FMA, but she has a great program for women's self-defense, and she's going to be doing a lot of demos, guys. She has her black belts, so we're going to have a lot of demos next episode. Yep. I think you're really going to like her. She's highly respected, guys. I'll reveal the flyer in the next couple days. Coach Kurt, just give him a sample. Not many names, but we got a lot of people coming up, right?
Yep, we do. We have 2 Olympic team members coming up. I have a former Olympic boxer and a former Olympic wrestler, women's wrestler, coming up here in the next couple of months.
And Coach Kurt will be doing those episodes. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make those ones, so he'll be doing those ones himself. But I know everybody's disappointed. I don't have to see my fucking face. But anyway, it's gonna be good, guys. So don't give up on us yet. We have some good shows coming up. I just want to really say thank you for everybody that's joining in and taking their time out of their night. I know it was a long one. I'm really trying to get out of the shadow of FMA discussion, guys. So this is my own thing with Coach Kurt that we're doing. I don't want to always be known as this is a guy who was on FMA discussion. So this is our own show. We're doing it our way, our rules, our format, our platform. It's going to be good. So hope you enjoyed the night. And we will definitely be coming back June 10th, right?
Yep, that's what I got on the calendar.
June 10th, which is a Saturday. I believe it's 12 p.m. Eastern. We'll put the details on the calendar. But you don't want to miss this one. This woman is very outspoken, too, and you're going to love her. She tells it like it is, too. She's very straightforward. And if you notice a reoccurring pattern of guests we have on there, the guests we have are going to be unfiltered, uncensored, and raw and candid. They're just going to tell how it is, and that's the way we want it. We wouldn't have it any other way, right?
Yep. Well, here's a little teaser. How about this?
You revealed it. Damn you.
Hey, it's for 5 seconds. If anybody can go back, but I'll put the post and all that out probably on Wednesday. But yeah. 5 seconds.
Yeah. Well, somebody's in a fucking. No, anyway, it's not that. We're just fucking around, guys. But you really
that requires them to watch the entirety of the podcast.
There you go.
So
you're fucked up now. You got to watch the whole show from beginning to end, all 3 hours and 14 minutes.
That's right.
The first hour, if you want to just skip me rambling on about my stories of being in fights and stuff, you can fast forward and get to the interview with GM Ron. I completely understand. I wouldn't want to listen to me rambling on either, like I'm doing right now. But anyway, Coach Kurt, not another episode, our first episode. But it was good from the test run too. You guys, Thank you for watching. Signing off now from Las Cruces, New Mexico, Homer, Alaska. Signing off. Thank you for watching, giving us a chance, and we hope you enjoy us join us the next time. You're not going to be disappointed. It's going to be a great episode, guys. So we're going to put the flyer out. And just one more thing. They can watch us on my page, right? Because it's streaming on my page now, and also Fight House Talks Podcast. If you haven't subscribed, liked to our YouTube channel or the Facebook page, please do so, and you're going to miss out on some great stuff that we have coming out, guys. So thank you. Appreciate it.